I try to put myself in the shoes of all parties involved in a situation like this. And it is such a unique situation. And it's not a Gronkowski situation. I know people have tried to tell me on Twitter, well, would you boo Gronk? Would you be defending fans that booed Gronk? It's completely different. For multiple reasons. One, I think Gronk's actually going to come back. Two, Gronk's a tight end. He's not a star quarterback. It is different. A star quarterback, that's made close to $100 million, number one overall pick, they're on another level. Not just with publicity, but also expectations. Like, you're on another level. Whether other pro athletes want to agree to that, current or former, and we'll get to them. We'll get to their tweets. I got some tweets I'm going to throw at you. Just, I tweeted out today. Are there any more former pro athletes or irrelevant and self-righteous media members that would like to tell us how fans should react to certain situations? Are there any more that want to jump to Twitter to tell fans how we should react? And I don't just mean Colts fans, I mean all fans. These former pro athletes and self-righteous, somewhat irrelevant media members and irrelevant former pro athletes trying to not just give their opinion on the situation, but tell you how it should be. Right? Tell you what you should do. I tweeted, are there any more left that want to come out and use Twitter for that and tell us how we should react to stuff? Anyone else? Because we need more. We need more of you to come out and tell us how we should react to things. And there's a lot of sarcasm there, obviously, because we don't really need you. We don't really need you to tell us how we should react. We'll react accordingly, however we want to react. That's what a fan can do. That's what a fan has a right to do. Much like Andrew Luck has a right to walk away whenever he wants. I'm not saying he doesn't. And I'm not saying he can't justify retiring. He can. He's dealt with some shit, man. And I'm sure the constant rehab has also affected his brain. Mentally exhausted. Believe me, I am not sitting here today telling you that Andrew Luck can't retire. He owes people certain things. He owes the fan base. I'm not telling you that. But I think where there is such a big difference in what I feel, the fans' right is, and what maybe these irrelevant former pro athletes and even current pro athletes and these self-righteous media members, I believe the difference is they're trying to tell us that the fans that booed on Saturday night, those fans, they don't understand what it's like to be a pro athlete, and that those fans don't wish Andrew Luck the best moving forward, and that those fans, they are not being reasonable with the idea that Andrew Luck is doing what makes him happy, and you need to accept that. These fans don't want to hear any of that. Well, I don't believe that's true. And people have then, tried to compare it to Gronk. And I don't believe you should compare it to that either, because Gronk's it's a different situation. Gronk won championships. And yeah, it gets into that. Because as a fan, you are all in on certain players that are on your team really for one goal, to win a championship. Did Andrew Luck win a championship for the Colts? No, he did not. So if you're a Colts fan and you're sitting there or standing there at Lucas Oil Stadium at a preseason game, by the way, you paid big money to get a preseason ticket. That's how much you love the team. You're wearing an Andrew Luck jersey, as most of the people in that building were that night. You're looking down at Andrew Luck walking off the field, reading on your phone that he's retiring at age 29 a week, 2 weeks before the regular season begins, a regular season in which you're standing there going, wait a minute, 20 minutes ago you thought you had a chance to maybe get to the Super Bowl. That's how much you believe in Andrew Luck. That's how much you love Andrew Luck. That's how much this team means to you. Andrew Luck, that man that you're looking at walking off the field, he represented every little bit of hope that you had in the organization that you just spent big money to go watch in a preseason game wearing that guy's jersey. That probably wasn't very cheap either. And when you're reading this on your phone and you react in a negative way, I am not going to sit here today or jump on Twitter and stand on my soapbox and try to tell these fans how they should react to that. Because that is such a unique, unprecedented situation. In the moment, there's going to be frustration. I'm sorry, there's frustration. And it's not that those people don't wish the best for Andrew Luck. It's not, but people have taken it, the outrage culture, they've taken it and they say, nope, you don't care about Luck. You don't care about his health. You don't care about his mental state, mental well-being. You don't care about any of that. You're selfish. You know, you're brainless and you should go seek help. There's something wrong with you. That's what they've said. That's what the outrage culture have said today on Twitter. And I've defended the fans. I said, no. Here's the deal. Here's my stance on it. Again, Andrew Luck has every right to walk away. He's got health issues, some mental issues that have come along with that, I am sure. And I feel for the kid. He obviously, watching that press conference, this was an emotional moment. But he obviously doesn't want to play football anymore. But at the same time, I don't just expect a fan base that loves their team, that loves their quarterback, that is watching him walk off the field, reading on their phone that this is a guy who's just calling it quits. He made $100 million. He's calling it quits. They live and die by this team, and they're just going to go, oh, you know what? Thank you. Like, in that moment, don't tell me, like, look, if Andrew Luck returns to Lucas Oil Stadium and he's in the owner's suite in the middle of the season, or let's say next season, and fans are still booing him, I mean, there's an issue there. We could start knocking fans for that. I believe you get to a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm talking about in that moment, and so was everybody else on Twitter today, because they were all reacting to that moment, to a video that showed it, all quote tweeting that video. So they're not just reacting in a vacuum, they're reacting to that video. You can't react to that video and say, here's how you should react to Andrew Luck retiring if you're a Colts fan. Here's how you should react to this. You can't tell them how to react in that moment. You can't do it. But they're not only telling you, here's how you should react, they're saying that if you booed, they're trying to tell you that if you booed Andrew Luck on Saturday night, that you have brain issues and that you should go seek help. I'll read you the tweets in a minute. It's stupid. It's the stuff really of low IQ, I think. And it's not being able to relate to fans. And if you're a pro athlete or a former pro athlete, they will say that fans can't relate to the players and you don't understand. Well, there's a lot of players, what I learned today is that there's a lot of players, current and former, that they don't understand the fans. And they never will. And that's a problem. But I think the problem speaks to a larger issue. I do. I think all this stuff that we're seeing with Andrew Luck, people getting mad at the fans that booed him on Saturday night, I think it speaks to a larger issue. And that larger issue is the outrage culture that we live in. And this situation on Saturday night, Sunday, people attacking Colts fans for booing, to me is like the closest I've felt to being involved in like a political debate in sports, like taking political extreme thoughts and bringing it into the pro sports world when it comes to opinions. It's the closest I've felt we've got to that point. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's a reason why I don't do politics on this show or on any show that I do, on any platform, because it's ridiculous. It's so extreme on each side that nobody can understand both sides. Nobody can. And if they did, they wouldn't admit it. Right? these extreme, irrational views based on one thing that you believe, where if the other side doesn't believe it, not only are they wrong and you disagree with their opinion, but there's something wrong with them. They need help. These are people that tried to control how you make decisions and how you react to emotional moments. I see that in the political landscape all the time, and I don't get involved in it because it'll drive you insane. It drives me insane just reading people retweet stuff on Twitter. Holy shit. But this Andrew Luck situation is the closest that I've come to feeling the way I feel about political talk. Whereas I see all these people tweeting about how Indianapolis Colts fans, well, they got, what's wrong with your brain? You need help. How could you boo this man? Like, it's outrageous, but it's the outrage culture that we live in. The world of outrage. You're going to boo Andrew Luck? How dare you? You're an idiot. Go get help. That's what it is. That's what we saw on Twitter today. That's what we saw. So fans are booing Andrew Luck. I mean, I think from the get-go, whoever's idea it was for Luck to go out on the sideline, or whoever leaked this at that, before this game was over, they handled it the wrong way. They butchered it. Honestly, what did you think was going to happen if you're the Colts or you're someone in Luck's, if you're Andrew Luck? Honestly, you think you're going to get a standing ovation in that moment? And these athletes that are coming out arguing against it, and you know what, maybe there was one tweet that set a lot of people off. And that one tweet was from Doug Gottlieb. This was a stupid tweet. And I don't agree with it. I don't. It was a stupid tweet. He tweets, quote, retiring because rehabbing is too hard is the most millennial thing ever. Hashtag Andrew Luck. He said, retiring because rehabbing is too hard is the most millennial thing ever. You know, one thing I will say about what the outrage culture has turned this into as they go after Indianapolis Colts fans, or anybody like myself who defends those Colts fans for booing. One other issue is that I think the outrage has turned this into not just the guy who's frustrated with rehabbing, but also a guy. They've turned this into some real serious illness or something. Andrew Luck. You would think that they're defending him so much with this one situation, people booing. You would think Andrew Luck is on his deathbed or was just diagnosed with some serious illness or something. And obviously I hope that's not the case, and I hope that's not news that we find out about. But you would think that's what happened based on the outrage that you see with these boos. And I don't know, maybe the outrage is stemming from this stupid Doug Gottlieb tweet. But I don't agree with Doug Gottlieb. Because I'm not sitting here today going, Andrew Luck, I'm not knocking him for retiring. You can call it quits whenever you want. That's your right. You can call it quits whenever you want. My point is that in this unique situation, in that moment on Saturday night, with a guy like that, for fans who are that passionate and love him and love that team and have high expectations and high hopes for their team this season, a new season that's about to begin. In that moment, when they find out this guy's just calling it quits on them, I don't know how you could expect them in that moment to react in a positive manner. It's insane if you think they're going to react, that everybody in that building is going to be like, no, you know what? Good for you. Good for you. Oh, I'm wearing your jersey. I know. I thought we were going to go to the Super Bowl this year, but you know what? This is all about you. This isn't about us. It's about you. We're happy for you. And any decision you make is good with us. Let me go buy another Bud Light for $10.75. No. I'm not surprised they booed. I almost expected the boos to be louder. I'm not crushing the fans today. I'm defending them. I'm defending them. That is a passionate moment for a passionate fan base for a situation that is shocking. This was a shocking situation. So if you're going to come out on Twitter, whether you're a media member or you're a former athlete or a current pro athlete, and like you're going to just start crushing those fans, dude, you're the one that doesn't get it. You're the one that doesn't get it, okay? Like, you don't get it. You're the one that doesn't get it. Don't give me the Doug Gottlieb tweet was stupid. Don't put that Doug Gottlieb tweet in the same conversation as those fans booing in that unique moment on Saturday night, because it's completely different. Those fans weren't sitting there going, rehabbing's too hard, you're a millennial. Like, we don't care about your health. They weren't doing that. They were reacting to the idea that their hopes and dreams for this season that was just about to begin with high expectations, they were reacting to those hopes and dreams being flushed down the drain in front of their very eyes on their phones. They're talking to everyone in the building. Like, what? Andrew Luck's retiring? What? Imagine being in the building. Like, someone behind you goes, guys, I'm on Twitter. Schefter is tweeting that Andrew Luck's retiring. Isn't that him right there? Laughing with Jacoby Brissett? What the fuck's going on? Like, this is the stuff that's probably happening in the stands. And all these people get Andrew Luck jerseys on. That cost them $125. But I should listen to Martellus Bennett on his beautiful boat try to tell us that this is how fans should react, right? Or I should take Taylor Twellman's advice on Twitter that, you know, if you're a fan booing Andrew Luck in that moment, there's something wrong with your brain. You should go get help. Right? Say Rich Eisen tweeting too. Oh, there's something, you should go, get some help. If you booed Andrew Luck in that moment. Shut the fuck up. Look, you don't have to relate to the fan. Okay? But there's got to be some type of understanding that, these people are taking the side of a player like, oh, he's so damaged physically, mentally. It's like, do you understand that a lot of these fans, like, this is their escape? And I speak to defend the fans because I speak as a fan. I speak as somebody who has lived and died by teams. Okay? Now, we're spoiled in this town with all the winning we do. And I don't mean that to rub it in to anybody, especially Colts fans today that might be listening to this going, how is a Patriots fan going to defend us today? Listen, Deflategate was fucked up, okay? It was. And we'll never forget it. But this isn't just for Colts fans. This is for fans. I'm a fan. I've grown up living and dying with certain teams. Teams that I love. It's my escape. It's the escape from reality. It's the escape from physical issues, mental issues. It's the escape. That escape is a love for the game, is a love for the sport, is a love for the team, it's a love for the players. And it's a special bond that you have that the player apparently thinks he understands, but he obviously doesn't. I think fans, for the most part, do understand. Even the fans that were booing in that building, I think what's going to happen is they go home, they take a couple days, take a couple deep breaths, and they realize, they watch the press conference, and they understand that Andrew Luck is done with football, and that's his right. And I think they'll probably say, go be happy. Like, I think that's the way it'll work. But in that moment, on Saturday night, being a fan in that moment, having the season flushed down the drain, you're standing there going, what's happening right now? You might even go on Twitter today and start, running your mouth. And it's emotional. It's a shocking situation. I can't sit here and tell you that you should react in a different manner because I've been that passionate fan. It happens. So I'm defending the fan because I speak from a fan perspective. And it's honestly disheartening to see pro athletes and even media members be so hard on these fans that were booing. This is not a normal situation. This is not a normal situation. And so, I just think there's a huge difference between booing on Saturday night in that building and even being upset a couple days later. There's a difference between that and the Gottlieb tweet, right? Not understanding why he's walking away. I think it's two different things. It can be two different things. It can be two different things. And I tweeted out that, I understand Luck, but I understand the fan because they feel let down. Andrew Luck let him down. And I had some people tweet, well, how did he let them down? He's walking away because he's hurt. Well, he let them down because the goal as a fan is you root for your team to win a championship. So it ends up being a disappointment. And you feel let down. It's human nature. Like, yeah, you're let down by this. As a fan, that's all. Do I really need to explain that? They didn't win a championship with Andrew Luck. They felt they could have. They thought they would have done it this year. Maybe the year after. Maybe in 3 years when Brady's done. But they didn't. So it's a major letdown. It's a huge disappointment. Why is that a crazy thing to say or tweet out? It's not. That's just a fan being a fan. You have a love for a team and a player. They loved Andrew Luck. And you know what? They still do. It's just you're reacting in a moment. But it's the outrage culture, man. And the political outrage, the extreme beliefs, where they don't just believe it and want to give their opinion, but they want to take your opinion on something and they want to say, not only do I disagree, but you're wrong. And because you're wrong, you need help. You need to go seek help. That's basically what these people said. I'm going to give you a couple. I'll give you a couple. Let's get to Rich Eisen first. Rich Eisen. He's got his own show, The Rich Eisen Show. Are we colleagues on Podcast One? Is he a colleague of mine? Maybe he is now. He might not be after I get done with this rant. Rich Eisen. He's got his own show, NFL Network. He's part of the Good Old Boy Network, right? He's in the clique, the NFL clique with the players and the owners. He's in with everybody. He's out there in L.A., in Hollywood, mixing it up with everybody famous. Rich Eisen, he tweets out, in response, by the way, to the video of Luck walking off the field, getting booed with no noticeable limp or ankle brace or anything, which, again, is in the mindset of the fan booing in that moment, which you have to try to understand, but these people didn't want to do it. Rich Eisen tweets, let's not paint the entire Colts fan base tonight, folks. They're one of the most passionate, loyal fans in the league, but whichever fans booed Luck walking off the field should check themselves and reevaluate what makes them tick. I almost need to just brush that off to the side. It's like, dude, really? Reevaluate yourself. Oh, you don't like what's going on right now? You're a passionate fan. He's almost contradicting himself. You're telling us you understand they're a passionate, loyal fan base. But in that moment, they're booing. It's their reaction. But if you booed, you should reevaluate yourself. You should reevaluate your passion and what makes you tick. Go get some help. Just got to brush that one off. It's ridiculous. I'll give you another one. Martellus Bennett. I mentioned him a couple minutes ago, who, by the way, has been tweeting all week from his yacht, right? He's somewhere beautiful. That wasn't cheap. Right? He's on a boat that wasn't cheap. He's working with a couple mil. Living the life as a former player. Here's what Martellus Bennett tweets. Quote, I'm not surprised people booed Andrew Luck. I always say that fans don't see football players as humans. Most people take a week off with a common cold, LOL. They want to boo this dude for making a decision for his life that truly has no personal effect on the fans as individuals. That's the quote from Martellus Bennett. I'm putting it up on YouTube, by the way, too, if you want to read it as I go along. YouTube.com/Danny Picard. But Martellus Bennett, again, tweeting this from his yacht on some exotic island. Beautiful water. Wherever he is, the water's great. The water looks great. I'd love to jump into that water. I'd love to be on a boat. Love to have a couple mil. But Martellus Bennett is so out of touch here, it is not even funny, considering the things that I just told you and where he was while he's tweeting this stuff. He says, fans don't see football players as humans. Then he says they want to boo this dude for making a decision for his life that truly has no personal effect on the fans and the individuals. That's so out of touch and stupid, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. I mean, Martellus Bennett was a member of the New England Patriots. Okay? A championship organization. I can speak even more from an even more personal experience from this one with the Patriots. Like, we live and die by the Patriots. We do. I see the players as humans. I think decisions for certain people have, there's a method for their madness, and madness, obviously maybe not the right word there, but you get what I'm saying. We understand that these guys are humans, but what he's not understanding is that the fans live and die by, love them, love the players. There are people who wake up in the morning, have so much shit going on in their lives that they can't control, but you know what gets them through? They got the Patriots schedule in front of them. And they look at that, and they say, the season's beginning soon. All right, we got hope for another championship. Who do we got? What is Tom Brady's offensive weapons? These thoughts, thinking about a Patriots season that's upcoming with championship hopes again, that gets people through the day. And I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but if you want to start getting into players' feelings and, mental well-being that goes along with with what happens with players on the field and rehabbing and what their mental state and mental makeup is right now, and you don't treat the players like humans. Fans have issues too. And, as somebody who has dealt with some issues myself as of late, I handle those things on my own time. But I can honestly tell you that a perfect escape for me is to sit down, watch a game, to look ahead and look forward to a new season. To know that Sundays are going to be for football. And that is my escape from any depression or anxiety or tough situations that are on my plate at the moment. Those things get me through. And to say that it's an escape is an understatement. And I just speak for myself. And there are a lot of people that fill that building at Gillette Stadium and filled that building at Gillette Stadium when Martellus Bennett was playing for the Patriots that feel the same exact way. Not everybody is leaving Gillette Stadium, jumping on their yacht, and tweeting from a exotic island. In fact, most people that fill that stadium are not doing that. There are a lot of people, as fans, not just in this town, in any town, and Indianapolis is included in that live and die by their team and use their team and the upcoming season and the hope that team, that season brings them. They use that as an escape. They use that to make them happy. It's a way for them to get by. And I guess Martellus Bennett just really doesn't understand that. Right? And how could we expect him to? Given the pictures that he's tweeting out, where he's at right now. I'd love to have a couple mil in my account. I'd love to have a yacht. It would really help me escape some of my worries. Couple mil. Right? I get it that money doesn't heal all wounds. I understand that. But for a lot of people, it would be a good start, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? For a lot of people, it would be a good start. And for all those people in that building at Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday night that just so happened to be booing Andrew Luck in that moment, I can guarantee you that 99% of those people weren't sitting there going, fuck his injury, he should play hurt, we don't care about his mental well-being. They weren't saying that. But these people on Twitter are making it out to be that. They're making these Indianapolis Colts fans out to be monsters that need help, and I am here to tell you to defend the fan and speak as a fan to tell these players and these former players that you sound like an out-of-touch moron. Okay? Because these same people that fill those stadiums and pay big money, without these fans, they're not building these big-ass stadiums. Without these big-ass stadiums, you're not... Andrew Luck isn't getting $100 million since 2012. I'm not trying to say that the fans deserve credit for his success. But at some point, if you're going to sit here and keep, crushing the fans with tweets and saying they need help, well, at some point, the fans need to take that personally and say, nah, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. I love this team. I loved that player. I loved the idea that with Andrew Luck, at some point this season, we had a chance to win our division and a chance to maybe get to the Super Bowl. But I'm standing here in this preseason game. I paid to come to a preseason game, and this dude I'm looking at down just calling it quits. Adam Schefter's tweet, Ian Rappaport's tweeting what? So I'm reacting in the moment. Then I get to open Twitter the next day, and I'm being called an idiot, and people are saying I need help. You sound like an out-of-touch moron. I'll give you another one. Taylor Twellman. Not that anybody ever asks what Taylor Twellman thinks about anything in the world of pro sports. But he gives it. And this just isn't a very intelligent tweet. But he's responding to the video, by the way. Taylor Twellman, who, you know what? Taylor Twellman, his career he was a professional soccer player. A damn good one, too. He was a damn good soccer player. And I'm not being sarcastic there either, he was. And his career was cut short because of concussions. And that sucks. That sucks. He was a damn good player. And it's unfortunate that his career had to take that type of end. So if there's anybody that I think could speak up about this and about a professional athlete talking about, ending his career prematurely when he's great at his craft, all right. Okay, Taylor Twellman would be one of these guys where I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm not asking for it, but when I see it, I go, okay, yeah. He was a damn good player. It's unfortunate his career had to end. But he tweets, in response to the video of fans booing Andrew Luck, he tweets, can't wait for those Colts fans to get home with mom and dad waiting before they head to the basement. Look yourself in the mirror and be honest before you eat that meatloaf. Am I normal? Am I human? Do I have a heart? A brain? End quote. End tweet. Taylor Twellman. Not a very intelligent tweet. Not a very intelligent tweet at all. All right, so basically his message is, you booed Andrew Luck. Do you even have a brain? The part about it is, here's the sad part about that tweet. There are some Indianapolis Colts fans who probably paid big money to go to that game, go home, heating up some leftover meatloaf because they don't have money to go out and get any other food because they just spent it all at the stadium and their Andrew Luck jersey. And they probably don't feel normal. They probably don't feel human. They probably think they have an issue with their heart and their brain. But going to those games, rooting for Andrew Luck, putting everything that they have into the idea that this gives me hope, this gives me happiness, this is my gateway to that happiness. There are some people that left Lucas Oil Stadium that were in that building that night, booing Andrew Luck, that feel the way that Taylor Twellman is actually describing, and yet Taylor Twellman's telling these people to go get more help when their help is actually going to root for the team that they love, that they live and die for. And the player that they live and die for. And they're seeing it all on their phones and people talking around them being flushed down the drain. And they're reacting in the moment. And you want to crush them for that? And you want to do it with this tweet that is so stupid. Man, what are we doing? What are we doing? Everyone's so sensitive. They reacted with boos. How did you think they were going to react? I just picked a couple. In fairness to these people I picked out, there are a lot of others with even worse tweets, but I only get so much time, okay, on this show. But it's just, they speak for the majority. These opinions. Oh, go get a life. Check yourself. Go get help. You got a brain? If you boot Andrew Luck and you don't understand this play and the reason he's retiring, you got something wrong with you. If you were booing that Saturday night, go get some help. That is basically what's going on in the political world, right? We have an opinion. If you disagree, you need to go get help. Here's how you should react. You should cheer Andrew Luck in that moment. Here's how you should feel about this. Oh, you're heartbroken? Oh, the one thing that you use as your escape, your gateway to mental happiness and mental freedom, that's all kind of falling apart on you right now? That you just spent big money in a preseason game? The guy that gets paid $100 million? The guy that didn't win you a Super Bowl? He's just going to walk off, no walking boot, no limp. Had a couple smiles out there, too. In that moment, you're going to react in a positive way? Fuck that. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. Now, if they're booing him in a year, he shows up later this season, and they're throwing shit at him, if he's getting death threats or anything, then that's a different thing. We're not talking about that. All these people I just read you on Twitter, they were linking and talking about the booing at the stadium on Saturday night, and they were taking it to a whole new level. Basically, they've turned Andrew Luck having an ankle injury and a couple bad injuries into that, you would have thought that they told him, you would have thought the doctors told him he can't play anymore. You would have thought that they're booing the fact that doctors told him he had a serious illness that was life-threatening. That's not what happened. But these overreactions from the fans didn't overreact. They reacted accordingly to a shocking, unprecedented situation regarding something that they live for. And I get it, Andrew Luck lived for it too. But we're talking about this moment on Saturday night. And I'm just here to tell you, if you were a fan of that building, don't listen to these idiots with these stupid comments on Twitter. Pro athletes, current, former, any of these self-righteous media members who think that, I'm a big name, I got a national platform, so here's how I feel. I'm part of the good old boy network. I'm in with all these NFL people. I got nothing bad to say about the Luck family. He's a good kid. How could you boo such a good kid? Let me take a page out of your book. Use your brain. Put yourself in the fan's shoes. Understand that there is more to the NFL than just the players. You can't have one without the other, and it goes either way. It does. It goes either way. It goes both ways. There is so very little understanding in this world. Again, this brings me back to this speaks to a larger issue in the world. The outrage culture. There's so little understanding in this world for both sides with extreme views, to just understand both sides of a situation. I understand both sides. Andrew Luck wants to call it quits. He's got some stuff going on. He's made his money. He had some success in the league. Not the ultimate success, not the success he wanted ultimately when it comes to the championships, but, personal success, he had it. And he made his money. Good for you. Good for you. Happy for you. Happy for you. Successful career. You're banged up physically, mentally. You can't do it anymore. You don't want to do it anymore. You don't have to. Get out. Because you could get cut. I'm not like siding with owners today. I'm trying to use common sense and understand both sides. The player has every right to leave. Go get out of the game if you want. I'm not knocking you for that. But if you booed on Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium, that doesn't mean that you also don't understand Andrew Luck. You're just a fan reacting in the moment. But then you have to read all these people trying to tell you how you should have reacted? Like, what type of world are we living in? But they're outraged by this. How could you be outraged by this? To the point where you would say some of these stupid things on Twitter. Rich Eisen, Marty Bennett, Taylor Twellman, a couple more. So CM Punk throws something stupid out there. I can't even get into wrestlers. Wrestlers on Twitter bitching all the time about something. But pro athletes, there's other ones. I saw Kevin Youkilis, oh, great, Uke, thanks. I'll let you know when I want your opinion on something. Like, just crushing fans that were booing. These athletes don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. And you know what? I usually defend the athlete. I am 99% of the time on the athlete side. 99% of the time on the athlete side. With any battles, money, battles with ownership, battles with GM, battles with organizations, I take the player's side. I understand it. I understand the locker room culture. And I got news for you. If you think that there are not players, rolling their eyes at Andrew Luck at the same time, now they're not going to come out and tell you. But I'm talking about guys who have rehabbed and are still rehabbing. They know what they signed up for. They didn't get to make $100 million in their careers. They're still rehabbing, and as of week 4 in the preseason, they are still battling for a roster spot while they just rehabbed this offseason. You mean to tell me, if you know locker room culture, if you know that culture, you mean to tell me there's nobody that looks up at that Andrew Luck press conference that's making a, $2 million, battling for a roster spot, just coming off a couple Achilles tears, that's looking up going, this fucking guy. You kidding me? You mean to tell me nobody? Nobody. And not to say I am. I'm not telling you I am. But I'm just saying, like, with locker room culture, I usually side with the players. And I'm not siding with Andrew Luck here. But I don't think you need to really, with what happened Saturday night and Andrew Luck's ultimate decision, people are taking sides on that. And I'm just like, I understand both. I understand both sides. But the people who have these voices and these platforms, like the guys I just read you, Rich Eisen, Marty Bennett, Taylor Twellman, the guys who have all these followers on Twitter, people listen to them, people, see it. These people are trying to tell you not just that they disagree with you if you booed on Saturday night, but they're trying to tell you how to react to situations that you are more invested in than these players will ever understand. And that's where I side with the fan on this one rather than the player. Because I am a fan. I've been there. I've lived it. I've lived and died by teams and players and seasons and championships and playoffs. I've lived it. I've used it as an escape. I still do. I can honestly say, like, I live in a time in my life right now where one of the only things that makes me happy is discussing the New England Patriots. I handle all my shit on my own time, but if you want to really if these guys want to open it up like that, that's a real thing. That's a real emotion. That's a real feeling. And there's a lot of people in that building Saturday night that feel similar to how I feel about my team, about theirs. And I think most of the people in that building that night, even though they booed, I think that they do understand Andrew Luck, and they will understand Andrew Luck. But these people that are tweeting out with their self-righteous, outrage culture thoughts, they can't get it through their brains that the fans actually will understand at the end of the day that Andrew Luck, what he's doing, good for him. They won't understand that. They don't. They're trying to tell you how you should react in an emotional moment. And that's a joke. And I think it speaks to a larger issue with our world, the society we live in today. On social media, when it comes to politics, again, I don't get involved in that shit because it's exhausting. This stuff today on Twitter on this Sunday, August 25th, was exhausting. Seeing people attack these fans that booed in the moment on Saturday night. joke. Not the booing. The people attacking them is a joke, in my opinion. And that's not saying that I don't think Andrew Luck has the right to do what he did. Good for him. Good for him. But those fans reacted in a moment, in a shocking moment. And if you wanted to boo in that moment, you're fine in my book. Now, if you're driving by his house throwing rocks, I got an issue with you. Right? Maybe I feel the need to clarify that. Like, if you're taking it too far, I got an issue with you. Did they take it too far Saturday night? All factors involved. The shock factor. What they wanted. How much they loved the kid. How much they loved the organization. The fact that he's standing in front of them with no walking boot. The money that he's made in his career. All of these things, all of these factors. In that moment. If you booed on Saturday night, that's fine to me. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Just don't take it to the next level. That's all. And they haven't yet, as far as I've seen. But these people still want to jump on social media and they want to tell you how you should react. They want to control how you... And if you don't agree with them, you need help. That's their tweet. Rich Eisen, Marty Bennett, Taylor Twellman. I saw a couple other people I mentioned. And that's just a few. There's way more than that. I just plucked a couple random ones out that pissed me off. But, it's a shocking situation. I can't believe he's done. I can't believe he's done. They kind of leave the door. I mean, let's face it. They kind of leave the door open for a return, though, too. Right? So, like, as worked up as you want to get about how tough everything is for Andrew Luck right now. Like, if you're a Colts fan, and at some point you do sit down the next couple of days and go, you know what? He worked his ass off for us. He was great in the community. He's a great dude. I wish him nothing but the best. I think the last thing you want to hear is that, like, they're leaving the door open for this, like, return while telling you that you need to feel so bad for this guy. It's like, so you're going to crush me for booing, but then you're going to tell me, like, oh, but also, don't worry. Now that he's crushed your hopes and dreams, he might come back at some point. Like, I don't want to hear that. So, I mean, it's a shocking situation, and I don't know that fans even know what to do, man. So I'm not knocking them if they're booing right now. People are like, what does he owe the fans? It's like, you're taking it too far. You're overreacting. Your outrage to this is causing an overreaction on your part. Nobody's sitting here yelling, he owes the fans this, he owes the fans that. Nobody's saying that. You might get a couple knuckleheads on Twitter saying that, but we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that were in the building Saturday night. If you honestly expected them, given all factors involved of that specific situation, if you expected them, the way they handled that, the way Luck handled it, the way the team handled it, if you expected those fans to stand there in their Luck jerseys on Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium and give the guy an immediate standing ovation as they're being shocked and crushed on their phones, then you're the ones that don't get it. You're the ones that don't get it.